little fresh, a little freshen up, a little clean. Practice good hygiene.
Jonesy and Ray, just wondering.
Welcome back to Just Wondering podcast, where we will surprise each other with whatever topics come to mind. We literally know nothing and have made a rule to never research before recording. So buckle up.
We're your hosts. I'm Jones.
And I'm Ray. And Jones, I was just wondering about hygiene.
Hygiene. I wear high-waisted jeans. I definitely don't have the best hygiene, but it is something that is important.
That's what I'm actually wondering about. We have conceptions of like what would be considered good hygiene, but maybe none of those things are really correct. If I'm like actually covered in mud, I might be like, okay, well, I really need a shower because I'm actually dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm like, well, they're not germs. And when the mud dries, it kind of cracks off anyway. So it's like, was I even dirty?
I mean, you literally had dirt on you.
But sometimes
By
you can just rub it off.
And like some people do like mud baths and mud exfoliants and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that there's a very different perception of hygiene also based on location, based on class, based on culture, all of these different things, right? Like I think there's so much to play into hygiene, and we always joke that we don't have great hygiene because we're not big like wash our hair all the time. But is that actually bad hygiene? Like I don't smell.
So I usually shower like 2 or 3 times a week only. I wash my hair once or twice a week, but I don't think I think it is considered poor hygiene, but I don't think it's actually poor hygiene. There are people that shower even twice a day, and I think that would also be not great for you.
Yeah, I think it's finding that happy medium. There's some people that wash their hair every day and you shouldn't wash your hair every day.
I don't know if that's even necessarily true. I have heard that because when you use shampoo to strip the oils out of your hair starts producing more oils to protect itself. So it gets greasier faster. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't wash your hair every day. Some people, like, if it makes you feel good and it makes you feel clean and it makes you feel confident or whatever it is, like, then you should wash your hair every day. I don't feel good when I wash my hair every day because then it's never dry. I would just have soggy hair all the time.
Yeah, it's hard. I think that's so dependent on person and how you feel, but I guess there is a limit where it becomes bad hygiene. Like if you are very like smelly or getting like infections, or like if weird things start happening to your body because you're not cleaning it, then that's when it's a problem.
Yeah, I think something like getting an infection or something is a really valid point. I think even smelling bad is also very cultural, right? Like we're saying like you should smell like soap and fresh linen and beauty products. But I think usually when I sweat and exercise, I smell like salt, which I don't think is very offensive. So I don't think that it's that bad. If you're at a point where you're bathing so infrequently that it's making you sick, or it's cultivating bacteria and germs in an unhealthy way, I think at that point, I would say that is bad hygiene.
Yeah, that makes sense. If it's becoming harmful. If you look at like what 100 years ago, they had like one bath a year.
I would thrive, honestly. I think I'd be okay.
It's so different. It's such a weird experience. I have been taking baths most days, but it's not for hygiene. It's for relaxing and like
I think also for like a hobby because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, weed gummy and bath. It's funny, I've had more baths probably in the last 2 weeks than I have since I was like a child. Like I think I went 10 years without having a bath. And now I have one like not every day, but I'd say like 4 a week. But I do use Epsom salts because it's like really good for your skin. So I've heard.
It's good for more than that, actually. Epsom salts have, I think, magnesium in it. And magnesium is really good for muscle repair. When you have sore muscles, people say like take an Epsom salt bath. And it's because your body is able to absorb some of those minerals into your skin. It does have a lot of beneficial properties.
Right now we are all practicing better hand hygiene, which is always an important one. Also, oral hygiene is very important. Not that people forget about, but when you're talking about hygiene, people aren't always thinking about oral, and it's probably one of the most important ones because your teeth are so related to like other parts of your body and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's some things where I think it's more culturally pushed, and I think a lot of it has to do with the beauty industry, which is obviously like multi-billion-dollar, right? Is that accurate? I don't know. I'm just thinking this
Oh,
up.
for sure.
This industry thrives on consumerism.
Yeah.
You always need to have the new soaps. There's so much stigma that comes with like acne that people would be like, oh, that person is not clean. They don't obviously wash their face enough. No, let me tell you, I don't wash my face. I used to have acne for a long time. I used so many different products. I had multiple medications for it. I went on birth control when I was a young teen because that also helps to clear it. So you adjust your hormones, you try all these different medications, different products, and it didn't clear up. Yep. I do not wash my face. I wear my face mask for like 10 hours a day now. Other people get breakouts because of wearing their mask. My skin has never looked better.
Amazing.
It is case by case, right? So that's what I was saying even about washing your hair. Some people might have to wash it every day to feel their best or to look their best, and other people might not.
I don't wash my face either. And then I recently, like within the last year, started washing my face because I was like, oh, I should wash my face. Like I should wash my face outside of just like getting water on it in the shower. Like I should wash it. And then I was getting breakouts. And then someone told me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I usually splash water on my face because I have like eye crusties in the morning. Like I brush my teeth and I splash cold water on my eye crusties. Like that's my morning beauty routine. But I wouldn't say that's bad hygiene. I think that it is case by case. And I think there is often a lot of stigma. Imagine also like if someone suffers from dandruff or psoriasis or eczema or like any kind of like skin problems, right? Like there's always judgment and stigma that they don't have good hygiene. And that is not the case.
Not at all.
No, they're literally trying with all their might to not have eczema or whatever it is that they're suffering from.
It's so hard. It's such a tricky topic. And I think, based on the society that we're in, we're so accustomed to, you need to be clean. You can't have things that are dirty. And even with hygiene, when people talk about never re-wearing clothes, like I'll rewear a pair of jeans 100 times before I wash them, and like sweaters too, but I don't rewear t-shirts usually, but people will be like, oh, that's so dirty. I'm like, well, why? What? It's not inside of me.
In terms of laundry, I just don't really rewear underwear unless it's an emergency, then I would still do that. No, but I wouldn't rewear underwear, but I even rewear socks. If my feet haven't been like sweaty and they don't smell bad.
If I like wore them at work all day, then I won't rewear them. But if I'm just like at home, not really doing anything, my feet aren't sweating, it's not dirty. I've been doing laundry so infrequently since I moved here. I wonder if I'm doing it infrequently because I now share laundry with my upstairs neighbors, or I'm just like, I keep rewearing my clothes because I'm not fucking going anywhere. The biggest issue is just like, I'm a spiller. So that's my biggest thing. I have to wash my shirts a lot because I spill on them. One time a dog peed on my pants and I still went to the bar wearing them because
your priority that day was to get to the bar.
And now I got pee-pee pants. At least it wasn't my pee-pee. I did throw out the socks I was wearing. I wasn't going to be able to wear them because they weren't going to dry. And I was at my friend's house when we were allowed to go to people's houses. She didn't have laundry in her unit, so I couldn't even like dry them.
Did she lend you a pair of socks or give you a pair of socks?
Yeah. She gave me a pair of socks.
I was going to say, do you shower more frequently when you're on your period?
My body is very weird. I usually only get my period for like 2.5 days at the max. And I don't get it very heavy. So I don't feel like I need to. I also never just wear pads. Not that it's dirty, but I don't feel like I need to like clean myself more.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah. I remember when I was a teenager though, my mom told me that when I'm on my period, I should shower every day.
I think there's a lot less stigma around it now, but there used to be a way bigger stigma. And I think we talked about this in our periods episode about periods being dirty, but we know that that's not the case. If you wear pads more often, then you're more likely to want even just to like rinse.
I think because when I obviously first got my period, I only ever used pads because that's the least amount of training required.
Slap it on and let's go.
Recently, we got a bidet attachment to our toilet.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I have never used a bidet.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And I grew up in a house that has one and no one ever used it. We would just fill it and it was like a little sink. It was like our washing sink. And so we got this bidet attachment for our toilet and it's very powerful. So it's a little frightening. It's also not exactly angled correct. So you're always like trying to like squirm to get in the right position. So Someone once described it to me like, if you had poo on your hand, you wouldn't just take a napkin and wipe it away. You would go and wash it. So it's like, if you have poo in your butt crack, why would you just wipe it with a piece of paper when you could just wash it off? Now I have a bidet in my house and I'm like, this is great.
I always
It's
think
also
it's gonna make a mess.
So Jen one day tried to clean it. So she pushed the clean button, but she didn't close the toilet lid and it just shot her in the crotch. So it looked like she peed her pants. But it doesn't make a mess.
Okay.
Because maybe if you're like very thin and you have like this thigh gap or something, it might shoot out. How is the water gonna get out of the toilet? Because like my body
You're covering the
covers,
whole thing.
yeah, I cover the whole thing. So
That's so fair. I don't know why I ever thought that I would like have water on the ground. I'd definitely cover the whole Interesting. Yeah.
But it's also good because when there was like this whole toilet paper shortage at the start of the pandemic, it's like, well, we don't need that much anymore.
So do you exclusively use the bidet?
Well, I use the toilet paper to wipe away the water so that when I put my pants on, it's not wet.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. It's like fully, like you just are like cleaned?
Yeah, it's good.
And how does it work? How does it hook up? How do you like
I didn't hook it up.
Okay.
It is above the bowl below the seat.
Yep.
And it shoots water. Ours just hits you right in the vulva. Like it doesn't hit you in the butthole unless you like scoot yourself down. And like it's very powerful. Maybe scoot your butt down.
Well, now I want to get one. I want to try it.
It's good. Yeah, I recommend it. If you just need to like have a rinse, like bird bath, turn on the bidet real quick and you're fine.
That is a great idea. A little freshen up before you have like a partner over.
Exactly.
A little freshen up, a little clean. Practice good hygiene.
A lot of cultures think it's very barbaric that we would just use paper to wipe our buttholes.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of cultures that use bidets. It also seems like a more like economical option. Toilet paper's not super cheap.
We don't pay for water in our apartment either.
Yeah, I don't pay for water. But I also think like even if you were using it, probably the extent of the water you're using wouldn't be great to know what the difference is.
I've never turned mine up past level 1 and I think it goes to like 10. So I'm like really scared of it because it's already like too strong.
Imagine it was you put it on level 10 and it shot
and I went to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to try that. Not at level 10. Probably better for you.
Yeah, I think so.
One year I was watching Big Brother and someone on the show like culturally only used a bidet. And then everyone else on the show was like, oh, I love it.
One downside is like when I have to go poo at work, it's like I'm going back to the Stone Age, you know?
What else about hygiene do you know?
You mentioned that like hand hygiene is always very important and that's something that is very on the top of people's minds now. But you know, like when you notice people have like dirty fingernails or something, like immediately you're just like, I don't want them to like touch my stuff. So keeping like your hands and nails clean, I think is pretty important. And also I was thinking about like stinky feet. Sometimes you can't help it, right? That's what I was saying, because you were like, oh, sometimes hygiene is kind of subjective in a lot of ways, but like if you start to smell bad, like you should probably clean yourself. But sometimes it's like the material of your shoes or the amount that you sweat, or also it's your hormones. Like if you're very stressed, maybe you're going to smell more, right? So there's so many other factors. Sometimes I just put deodorant on the bottom of my feet.
I do that also.
Another hot tip that I have is sometimes you don't expect you're going to go to someone's house. And right now we obviously can't, but some summer afternoons, maybe you meet up with a friend and they're like, oh, just come back to my place. And you know that your feet are going to smell because you haven't been wearing socks all day. So as soon as you get to their house, you're like, oh, I just need to quickly pee. And then when you wash your hands, you just wash your feet in the sink too with the hand soap.
I have done that. Like if you have stinky feet, I don't want to smell my stinky feet either. I don't want you to smell it. I don't want to smell it, especially like if your feet get wet. I think make sure you're safe. Make sure you're not cultivating any bacteria areas.
If you are, just like, don't be afraid of the stigma of it either. Like maybe ask for advice or see your doctor or something.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't control it, like a yeast infection or things like that. They happen. Do what you got to do.
Try not to tell people like you should and shouldn't. If you are concerned that someone is not practicing the best hygiene, like there are more sensitive ways to say it. But if you feel like washing your hair every day, go for it. If you don't go for it.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Brush your teeth and wash your hands. Those two, I feel like should be non-negotiables. I don't want to judge you if you don't do these things, but I think it's very important for your health and safety that you brush your teeth and wash your hands, please.
I agree. Yes. All right, Ray, what are you drinking today?
Well, I know you'll be very surprised to know I'm drinking Canuck.
What?
What are you drinking?
This is unheard of. Today I am drinking wine. I am drinking the Wayne Gretzky Cab Merlot. Today is Wayne Gretzky's birthday. Happy birthday, Wayne Gretzky.
Good choice.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, shit. Oh my God. You can see Let us know what your thoughts, feelings are on hygiene. Do you feel like you have good hygiene? Do you feel like you have bad hygiene? Why do you feel that way? You can email us at justwonderingpodcast.ray@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at just.wondering.podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Peace. No, really, we blah, 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 blah.